Is that all you got?
What's good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Shadicstick dropping some hot faraga on this mic. You know, something I've been thinking about as all this news for the PS5 and Xbox Series X coming out is how strong these consoles will be. I mean, they're running top-of-the-line CPUs with nicely paired GPU configurations. They're also utilizing extremely fast RAM, GDDR6, and extremely fast SSDs, so much so that the PS5 can load what the PS4 can in less than a second. Top with that, the latest Xbox will even be using the SSD as a RAM pool, which is completely insane. I mean, not completely insane. I mean, memory paging has been a thing for years, but to see this in consoles and see this technology utilized in the modern day in space for these consoles, these boxes that sit under a TV, it's pretty cool. So in all of this craziness, how does Nintendo's latest hardware stack up against these new Titans slated for holiday 2020 releases? I mean, I think we need to look at the specs on paper first and then look at a wide range of things. So the Switch specs, on paper, it runs an ARM Cortex A57 CPU with 4 cores at 1 GHz or approximately 1 GHz, 1.02 GHz, basically 1 GHz. Which is a part of the NVIDIA Tegra X1 chipset, which has 256 CUDA cores that run at 768 MHz docked and 307 MHz undocked. On top of that, it has 4 gigs of LPDDR4 RAM with 3.5 gigs available to devs to use for the games, no HDR, and a maximum output of 1080p at 60 Hz. Altogether, it has about 1 teraflop of compute power, which is pretty good for a handheld. Now let's look at the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. From what we know about these two Titans, they are Titans. They are the Chads of the gaming space when they come out next generation, or they will be. We know that the PlayStation 5 will have 8 Zen 2 cores with SMT, basically hyper-threading, meaning 16 threads with 8 physical cores, and it'll be a part of the Ryzen 3000 series units, or at least that's the lowest we expected to come in terms of where it places in the CPU marketplace. We know that the PlayStation 5 will be using 36 compute units that are based off of a custom Navi chip at 2000 MHz, making it slightly weaker than AMD's recently released RX 5700, and it'll have a pool of GDDR6 RAM that, while we don't know the specific speed or the specific amount, will actually have speeds of upwards of 448 gigabytes per second. And while we don't know the specific clocks of the RAM that's in the system, we do know that it'll have GDDR6 RAM with HDR, and we think it'll be able to output 8K, considering that the Xbox Series X will be able to output 8K, but let's say 4K for now, in 60 or 120 Hz. We haven't gotten a solid confirmation yet for the PlayStation 5. Now the Xbox Series X GPU, I think, is running 40 compute units or more, I don't remember, and it will have an output of 8K 120 Hz, which is insane. No games are not going to run at that, but it's still insane that it can output that. Future-proofing, my friends, future-proofing. So how does the Switch compete? Yes, the Switch has the benefit of watering down games this generation because it's a handheld, but that's this generation, not next generation. It's honestly worrying because I feel like there's a limit to what game devs are willing to do in terms of ports. Yes, Switch games sell well, but at what cost to the devs porting the games where 4K will be the standard, and games on Switch don't even hit 1080p half of the time. I mean, the Switch only has 1 teraflop in graphical performance, and while yes, I know teraflops aren't everything, looking at the performance on paper, the future in terms of ports from AAA devs next gen ain't looking too hot. It gets even worse when you think about how the Xbox One S, the console currently the closest in power to the Nintendo Switch, is even having a hard time turning out some games in native 720p. What does that say about the Switch when it goes into the next generation against consoles pushing 4K 60 frames per second? Before I move on, guys, I'm not speaking from a graphical perspective. I'm speaking from a performance viewpoint. The thing many people who claim to not care about graphics care the most about. We know with at least the Xbox Series X, the goal is to break the 60 Hz boundary on consoles by enabling the ability for those consoles to push 120 Hz right out of the gate, with it apparently being more powerful than Sony's next-gen machine, boasting a whopping 12 teraflops of GPU performance, whereas the PS5 boasts a whopping 9.2 teraflops in GPU performance. What was the Switch's GPU performance? 1 teraflop. So how can Nintendo survive this upcoming generation? The easiest way will either be obviously an upgraded dock or them just releasing a Switch Pro. Just do it. Now, before I talk more about that, I just want to state, while I think docked gameplay and the likes will be in trouble, I can't say the exact same for handheld gameplay. The reason for that is simple. The standards are much lower for handheld in terms of performance and for graphics. It is understandably much harder to pull off these AAA games on the go. Plus, the smaller screens hide graphical deficiencies, so devs are able to get away with the much lower resolutions and settings. The issue comes with docked gameplay. I'll keep it real with you guys. I play my Switch docked as much as I play it handheld at the moment, and while many of the games look great, I can't help but feel worried for the future. Well, yes, many games look good even at 720p and play fine at 30 FPS. I feel like we're gonna reach a limit where dynamic resolution scaling will only do so much. Games like Platinum's latest hit, Astral Chain, hang between 720p and 900p at 30 frames per second. Well, yes, the game is beautiful, and that 30 FPS is locked in tight with no dips. When 60 FPS finally becomes the standard in console gaming again, the Switch will feel like it's stuck in the past, even more so than it is right now, with the state of Nintendo Online, the lack of streaming apps, and the advent of 4K becoming the living room standard. Again, the solution I brought up earlier is an upgraded Switch. We need a system that, while maybe not true 4K capable in terms of its gameplay output, can output 4K and upscale to it. I also believe the Switch needs to upgrade its RAM pool to at least 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM, if not 16 gigs of RAM. I also feel like the clock speed could be bumped up a lot higher because of the new Miracle chip in the current Switch, as it's far more efficient. Finally, I think we need a Switch that is HDR capable. While I don't think HDR is the most important thing on the planet for a gaming experience because of how hit or miss it is, I do believe that it would help the marketability of a newer model of Switch. So all in all, is the Switch completely doomed? No. Nintendo has executed a strategy similar to that of the Nintendo Wii. As long as they have Switches in homes and people buying copious amounts of software like they do right now, developers cannot allow the system to be ignored. The Wii, for instance, got almost every Call of Duty game in its generation and most of the sports games, for example. While this may not be seen as a big deal to the Nintendo community's eyes, it signals the console's importance to companies like Activision and EA. And this helps the casual market know what system to buy. Well, yes, many of these AAA companies have returned to releasing games on Nintendo's platform. We have yet to see the likes of Call of Duty or Battlefield and other big titles come back based on Nintendo's last blunder with the Wii U. And while yes, the Wii U had a multitude of issues, the biggest one was the weak power of Nintendo's console. You see where I'm going with this? Many developers just did not want to develop for the severely underpowered console. It just was not viable to them, leading to the Wii U having a small library pushed by first-party games and third-party exclusives. And look how far that got it. But then again, Nintendo has gotten the likes of Bethesda, Square Enix, and even Capcom to support their latest console, the Nintendo Switch. While I don't believe the future of the Switch is absolutely doomed, it may not get any brighter than it is right now considering the current lineup of Switch families. But it could also be extremely bright considering Nintendo is known for releasing revisions of their handhelds and have already released one, technically two, for the Nintendo Switch. So guys, here's a small update. I didn't want to make a whole video about this, I'd just rather address it now. So thank you guys for watching, I honestly appreciate it. But my content is going to be changing a little bit. I want to up my production value and make content that I can be more proud of. So if you notice changes in the content and the stuff I cover, that's why. I want to talk about more things gaming related on this channel, and that's the best way I can think of doing it, by just changing up. I'm going to be still covering the old stuff, don't get me wrong, but I kind of want to broaden my perspective. Also, my goal for 2020 is to hit 10,000 subscribers. The thing is, I know I can do it, but I don't know if I will do it. I gotta keep myself on track, but don't worry guys, I have a plan and you guys are a part of it. My other goal is to hit 1,000 followers on Twitter. Right now I'm at 777, yes, 777, at least, of writing and recording this. So if you could follow your boy on Twitter, it'd be highly appreciated. And also the Discord server is currently at 60 members. My goal is to get it to 100 by the end of the month. So if you want a place to talk video games, anime, just anything, join the Oasis. It's a Discord where I chat and we play games and stuff. It's fun. So guys, I just want to thank you again for watching this video. The goal for January is to hit 4,000 subscribers, so it would be highly appreciated if you could hit that subscribe button and even become a member. It's as low as $2 a month, guys. Again, your boy is almost at 800 followers on Twitter, so hit that follow button. If you want to rep the channel, buy some merch. Links in the description. Also, they will be in the pinned comment. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And remember, Hot Faraga turns to Cold Blizzaga. Make sure you check out some of my other videos. Peace. Kiss, kiss.